go, Coos! Let's go, Coos! Let's go, Coos! Hey! What's going on? It is Devon Johnson and the Showtime Forum post-game show. You guys already know what time it is, man. Super excited to be here after a back-to-back drama-filled games. Lakers do what they do best. They leave us with heart attacks and laying on our floor in the fetal position. They win tonight 124-122 over the Houston Rockets, and it didn't seem like it was going to be that necessary given the roster restrictions on both sides, but for whatever reason, the Lakers had to give us a show, and they did tonight. The good thing is now that we have a 3-game winning streak. Shout out to Big Baby Sports Podcast. Let's go. Our own listen, man. Listen, you already know what time it is, dude. You already know what time it is. And I'm going to start off with the biggest thing that we need to talk about tonight. And it's a shame. Chaz may be with us tonight. I don't know. I'm sitting by the phone waiting on him right now to see if he can make it. He's having some issues, technical issues. But let's just start with the thing that you know Chaz would talk about right now. Coos saves the day. Of course, I got to bring in my boy, Jay Watt, man, who's in the building tonight, who, of course, is always been a hype man. Yep, and slash producer. And tonight he's going to be a triple hat player. He's going to be what we call slash tonight, hype man, producer. And then, of course, he's going to be my co-host until we can get our boy Chaz in here, man. So, listen, Coos did it, man. Coos did it. I want to show you something, man, because our boy, Javi, you guys know him as Golden Knight Effects. He put up a tweet. I'm trying to get the tweet right now, man. He put up a tweet that said, "Coos about to save us," and I've seen it. Sure enough, man. And what it looked like, to be honest with you, it looked like there was going to be an issue, man, when THT was trying to ISO get the ball in. They had zeroed in on my boy. He got stuck, and then Coos said, "Give it to me." And then you watched Coos, man, literally dribble out the clock, like you were watching him just waiting to get less time on the clock.
Who would have thought?
And listen, he got all the way to the cup. He's kind of mastered this slowing down the pace when he gets inside the paint, man, doing those big Euro steps, even when he's surrounded by people and being able to get his arms to the cup. And he did it tonight, man. And so I couldn't be more proud of this Laker team in certain areas, and in other areas, of course, we have to talk about because we're a little disappointed in what they were doing. But, man, what did you think about tonight? What did you think about Coos' performance, man? Overall, how do you feel walking out of that?
Shout out to everybody on Twitter. I was on the mic tonight. Twitter was live. Man, when the start of the game, I was like, "There's no way this is happening on this night." Nope. Get back, Satan. We're not having this tonight. You took our joy on ring night. You ain't taking our joy on banner night. No, not to these guys. I said this to our guy Chris Camillo on the halftime show. I said, you know the child's story, the little engine that could. Well, these are the little Rockets that can't, and they can't beat us tonight. So no. And man, these young boys, the maturity I've seen, the poise from a THT, from Coos, the Montrez being professional, he being a DNP and comes in there and is just going hard in the paint. What's up, Big Baby Jonathan? I see you. And then, then Marquis felt confident. Drummond going 20 and 10. It was just a night. You had LeBron out there doing the gritty like he's Justin Jefferson and the Vikings when THT went with the tomahawk in the first half. It was just crazy. This night, you got Alfonso McKinney sighting. It had meaningful minutes. Meaningful minutes for Alfonso McKinney tonight.
Hey, bro, shout out to the McKinney podium game tonight. He almost caught a lob, bro. He almost had a Caruso moment, and he just missed the lob, or the putback dunk. I shouldn't even say the lob. But, yeah, we did have a sighting of him tonight. It was all hands on deck.
And I was saying this, man. When I'm looking at the Rockets, I was like, man, did Aaron Brooks come out of retirement or something?
I kept hearing Brooks in my brain. I was like, he was playing when Kobe was playing. Ain't no way he averaging 18 right now.
I'm like, dude, that dude. I mean, I remember him playing with the Rockets and with the Suns when we went back to back. I'm like, there's no way this dude was like his little brother. Someone tweeted at me and said, man, we was thinking the same thing. We got Aaron Brooks, Kenyon Martin Sr., and Kurt Thomas out there outplaying us. So I was like, this is not happening tonight. Man. And this THT there's something magical about this kid from Chicago, man.
Agreed.
I don't know what it is, man, but man, I think Chris Camelo said, I ain't never seen a player this young to have that short of a memory. And man, his memory was whew. I mean, it's not photographic, it's erasable.
Real talk, bro. Real talk, man. And here's a question I want to ask tonight. As we got some of these, THT is so confident. He's got that Mamba mentality. I love it. So here's the question I want to ask you, man. Is THT a starter next year? Is he getting enough experience? He already has a ring. He's played meaningful minutes in playoff games. He's going to do it again at this upcoming playoffs. And then, of course, during this time right now, he's getting valuable playmaking moments and learning on the fly. Do you think he could be a starter next year?
If he keeps it up, and I think it all depends on what happens with Schroeder. I mean, I think we got an interesting conundrum to start the playoffs because the fans, the cult following of THT is gonna have a loud drum beat when Dennis Schroeder gets back. And I just think, man, whew, you never want to look. You never want to be Wally pipped.
Oh wow!
Right, you never want to be Wally pipped. But man, yeah. Look that reference up, kids. I mean, but if you really, if he keeps doing this, that's what we're gonna be saying about Dennis Schroeder because the poise this young man is playing with, the drop of a dime, double doubles. I remember I gave you the stat last night. He's the first Laker to have multiple double doubles off the bench since Magic's retirement tour in 95, 96.
And listen, I think he almost did it again tonight. No, he did do it again tonight. Another double-double. He started
tonight, so he had a double-double, but he was starting tonight.
Yeah, 23 points, 10 assists, and he only had 3 turnovers. And I know that sounds like a lot, but that's really not a lot for someone like him. He really could have had more points had he not left 3 at the free throw line. I really do think that this guy has the potential. And this is what I want to point out to people, because we did have a small segment of our Laker fandom where we had to deal with some really horrible teams. And when we got the Josh Hart, the Lonzo, the Brandon, the Kuz, all of them, they showed flashes of potential. They all showed moments that they were going to be able to grow into something. But THT is showing stuff a couple of years earlier than some of these guys. The Julius Randles, the Jordan Clarkson. Look how long it's taken them to develop into players that are really carrying teams. And you're watching THT start to pick up some of that momentum this early. Dude's what, 20 years old?
Yes.
20 years old.
Just turned 20.
20. So by the time he's 22, 23, after sitting underneath LeBron and really getting some meaning, I don't think he's going to leave the Lakers. I think the Lakers are going to keep this kid long term. He was too valuable.
He's Pelinka's prize possession.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Lakers have done, as we see across the league, the Lakers have done an incredible job of taking in young talent, whether undrafted or drafted, given Caruso or any of these guys. Listen, THT was a throw-in. He was a throw-in. It was a pick that we picked up at the last minute, and this dude turns out to be exactly what we needed. Josh Hart, Kuzma, that they were later on in the draft, ended up being important pieces. Of course, Josh Hart for another team, but Kuzma in tonight. And I want to bring this up for Kyle Kuzma because we don't give this man his flowers. All we do is we run. And now where's Blake? Where's Blake St. Clair at? I need Blake in the chat, man. I need Blake in the chat because he was talking last night. But I want to give this man his flowers while we can because honestly, I'm going to be honest, man, like what he did tonight, forget like even just the last shot. Look at this.
Left, Stu. Kuzma gets into it. Here he goes. 2 steps and scores.
As I'm looking at it simultaneously, like you on my screen as well, man, it's just the maturity he that it takes to make a play like that. A younger player would have been dribble. Let me dribble out the clock. Let me go and put out the ugly shot. No, this dude he saw that he had a mismatch. He Euro step and he boom and
Yank. And see, what I did like is
you can't make this up.
Like so, previously he had a shot that he was trying to keep the lead going. We had a drought of over 3 minutes of not scoring, and one of those shots that we missed was Kuzma trying to draw a foul, and he barely drew iron when he threw the shot up.
Right.
That time he decided he wasn't going to pull up. He's going all the way in. And that to me is like you said, a sign of maturity. He's making decisions based upon what the defense is giving him. And then he's imposing his will once he makes the decision. And so at the end of that play, you watched him get all the way to the cup. And he was actually, I mean, literally to me, he got fouled at least once. I don't know what was going on there. But it didn't matter. He went and got the bucket. He did what was necessary. And then on the other end, man, Wesley Matthews playing incredible defense, man. And I know a lot of people probably didn't see it because it was moving so fast, and THT ended up on the ball and getting the foul and doing the foul shots. But, yo, man, I'm telling you, Wesley Matthews has been valuable during this time without LeBron and AD and the intermingling of that. And I'm telling you, Wesley Matthews is going to be an asset to us in the playoffs. There's been people trying to get rid of him. I don't think he should be dropped out of here, man. This dude's going to get some significant minutes.
He's not going nowhere. He's not going anywhere. I mean, where's he going to go? To the bench? No. Look what has happened, what he's done in the last 24 hours. He's basically has been the key reason why we're not in the play-in tournament yet. We still have 2 more games left. And
that's real talk.
We still have 2 more games left. And had Wesley Matthews not had that putback last night, and Vogel had the foresight to put him on the island with Kelly Olynyk, we'd be talking about Lakers-Warriors Tuesday night already.
Real.
This is an anticlimactic show, and we'd be talking about what the Lakers got to do to play in tournament. We would have shifted the focus someplace else.
That's wild, man. It's just wild to even think about. Number one, that a team that like us who was this good, we're talking play-in, and nobody's worried about it. Nobody's embarrassed about it because it's just that this is the way the season has gone. But it's just crazy to think about that the way that we're going to walk into this championship is going to be so different than how we walked into last year's. And I'm just wondering, man, how much of a difference that's going to make and how we view this championship if we're able to get number 18 versus what we did to get number 17. Here it is. This was THT's 71st game as a pro. Think about that. That means
he hasn't played 82 games yet.
Ain't even played a full season. Already has playoff minutes. Already has a ring, and now has been a starter in significant moments during this season. All everyone does is praise Kuzma. THT has been key player when everyone else is missing. Blake, I think you and Chris Camello would be the ultimate wonder twins of negativity. I think y'all should get together and just have great conversations about how much you hate winning. Wes over Des. Who are you talking about? Wes over who?
Oh, I think he meant
Dennis.
I think he's talking about Schroeder.
Over Schroeder?
I get where. I said Wesley. I wanted Wesley Matthews to start from day one because I just knew what he's been as a veteran, as a starter.
Yeah,
but I gotta give him his prop. I gotta even show more respect for this man being a professional.
Yeah.
This dude's been probably starter a good 10 years in the league, from Utah to Portland to Dallas, even last year in Milwaukee. And Dennis Schroeder was a 6-man of the year runner-up, but he took it in stride, and he's been a pro about it. And it's now paying off.
It is now. Look, Justin Stover, our own boy, who says, "Are we better without Dennis?" I'm going to say no. I'll say that we have more grit. Now, this is something that Blake is saying that I agree with. The defense is better with LeBron out. Everybody's accountable on the floor. And that's not to say that LeBron is a liability. He's actually playing some of the best defense that we have on the team. But Blake has a great point. When LeBron is on the floor, there tends to be this attitude of stand back and watch. And it almost happens the same way with Dennis Schroeder. And so are we better without Dennis? I don't think it's necessary that we're better. I think that we're just not as focused. And as Blake was saying, it's not that we're better with LeBron out or the defense necessarily is better, even though it statistically is showing that it's been better these last few games. I think it's just what he just said. It just causes everybody to focus in and get it going. And it's for some reason we only want to decide to turn on the defense in spurts. So tonight we turned it on like the last 3 minutes. It was like, man, y'all would have been playing like this in the first 2 quarters. We wouldn't have even been in this position. So it makes you wonder, man. It makes you wonder. I like the Lakers winning. That's why I put the magnifying glass on Kuzma when he has 2 good games, then goes missing for 20. Where's Chaz? Where's Chaz for you, man?
Man, Chaz, you are needing action right now, bro. So bad.
KRS. I told y'all once goes back as brunette. It's over. He's talking about Kuz. When Kuz gets his hair back in order, he does play differently depending on what kind of hair he has. When he was blonde, he was a rebounding fool. He turned into Rodman. Big Shot Ben put the pressure on Wes. Big Shot Ben. Who's Big Shot Ben?
I think you're talking about Macklemore.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? Listen, this is one dude I think is going to benefit us and hurt us, but I'm fine with it because he knows exactly what he's supposed to do. He has the greenest light on that team. Nobody has a green light like that man right there. That what Ben McLemore is doing now is honestly what I thought that Deion Waiters was going to be. I thought Deion was just going to shoot everything. And it ended up not being that. Kevin Angeles, what is it with us letting players with the last name Brooks go off? Shout out to the earlier comment. We getting old. That could have been Aaron Brooks Jr. Laugh out loud.
So good, man. Aaron Brooks, Kenyon Martin Jr. That one dude who just got here from like Israel or somewhere. Someone thought he was the second coming of Kurt Thomas. I'm like, what is going on?
Bro, and this is what you got to understand, man, because I know when we look at the score and we look at how drama-filled it was tonight, we feel like the word is unnecessary, quote unquote unnecessary. We shouldn't have been in that position, you know. But you got to remind yourself that when you have a team like the Houston Rockets, who's been decimated, they have no future plans. They have 2 more games left in their season, and they're done. There's nothing else that they have to do. So they're laying everything out on the line. People are auditioning. There really is no fear. There's nothing that can happen to them that's going to change anything about their future outside of, I got to showcase who I am. So you see guys who you've never, like Tate. You never heard Tate's name before.
I can't tell you. I honestly can't tell you none of those guys on Houston besides Olynyk and Kenyon Martin Jr.
But you saw tonight, though, they started making a name for themselves because they're playing against the Lakers. Right. And so anytime you have teams, and this is why we see this, when you have teams that have nothing to lose, it's the easiest for them to win. And they almost did it tonight. The difference was the Lakers really weren't playing like the Lakers for the first 3.5 quarters. They were playing literally like the Rockets. Zero defense, trying to score back and forth. And it wasn't until they got back into their original mindset of we're going to play defense first. That's where the stops started coming in. That's how we won the game. It wasn't just the shot that we got from Kuz. It literally was the defensive play at the end. Because at that point, the Rockets have been going back and forth and getting us. But tonight they pulled it out. Donovan Bryant asked, how do y'all think the chemistry is going to be when everyone is back in the playoffs? I'm going to let you take that one, Jay Watt. What do you think?
The chemistry is going to be fine because you got LeBron James. He's going to hold everybody accountable. So if you don't fall in line and Frank Vogel sees it, you're going to be, as they said in the movie D3 The Mighty Ducks, riding the pine pony. So you're going to sit down, you're going to get pine time, as Michael Wilbon say, get some splints. Get some splints, some bench splints in your ankles because you didn't sit there and listen to what's the bigger picture. It's not about just winning a ring. It's about the cohesion on how you win the ring. Yeah. And so look at the chemistry. And you brought this up earlier, the chemistry from last year with obviously you brought up, I didn't get last night with McGee and Dwight Howard and Danny Green and guys like that. And now we got new guys. We got Trez and Drummond and Wes Matthews and Dennis Schroeder, a whole another cavalcade of guys. So it's going to be very imperative of those guys who still were back from last year's team to make sure those other guys fall in line and know, look, I know you want to get your minutes. I know you want to get your money. You want to get your new contract. You want to showcase yourself. But we're playing for something bigger than all of that. And once you win that, all that others, you're going to reap the benefits from all that. I want to read you the box scores right quick on the Lakers. THT had 23 and 10 on 9 for 16. Drummond 20 and 10 on 9 for 13. Kuz was on triple double watch. He had 19, 10, and 7.
Yes, Blake.
Quack, quack, quack. Yeah, that's right. Good. I'm glad someone watches. I'm glad someone knows what I was talking about. And cool. And I'm gonna give you some quotes. THT is obviously he's already at the podium. And you brought up the defense, and that was the first thing he brought up was Wes Matthews. He said it was a big, huge stop. That's what we needed. On the Lakers' defensive strategy, he just said we just tighten up and we lock into our defensive coverages. Like you said, we lock focusing on defense. And then what else we'll see? Another THT quote. On the player he's developed into since the championship. It's been a big learning experience for me. Since then, my listening ears have been on. I've just been appreciative of it. This kid gets it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm going to be honest, man. And Donovan, that's an excellent question, bro. Donovan Bryant 8 on Periscope. THT is going to be a huge part of that chemistry, too. And let me explain why. For the most part, I mean, to be honest, he's the youngest, but has a huge future, right? And once again, I'm referring this is very similar to when Kobe first came into the league. Not saying that THT is going to turn into Kobe, but understanding that Kobe was sitting on the bench, had a lot of veterans around him who were giving him, lots of advice and pouring wisdom into him and knowledge. It's the same thing with THT. But because you have a young guy on one end and an old guy, LeBron, on the other end, there's so many opportunities, man, for connection and chemistry to happen because you're dealing with an opportunity for everybody. So there was something that happened last night that did not get reported. But I mean, it obviously wouldn't get reported. And if you weren't watching very closely, you would have missed it. But after the Lakers won that game last night and, Bron and AD are trolling, the first person off the bench, man, when the Lakers won that game, yelling, screaming, hugging folk, was Montrezl Harrell.
Sure was.
Do you remember how many minutes he had last night? No, I think he had like 5 minutes last night.
Well,
basically none.
Compared to tonight, it was 0, but he played like 5. He literally played 5 minutes, and that was really much in this first half.
That was it. Him and Marc Gasol played 5 minutes. And he came off of that bench and he was ready to go, man. And if there were moments where Trez was talking to THT, there was moments where Drummond and Trez were talking. You're constantly seeing communication happen. What you aren't seeing is you're not seeing LeBron doing a lot of talking. You see Anthony Davis doing and stuff like that. That is a sign of chemistry. That means that LeBron knows that these guys communicating is what they need. It's not going to be LeBron barking orders and everybody falling in line. That's how the Cleveland Cavaliers got to the championship, but that's not how this Laker team is going to go. It's going to be an interdependence from the youngest of THT all the way up to the oldest, man. Veterans, people who've been there before, people who've never been there before, sharing ideas. Think about this. Wesley Matthews has never won a championship, but THT has.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
The
irony of it, but they both can. Wes wasn't on this team last year. THT was. THT got a ring. Wes didn't. So they can share information, but Wes has been in the league longer. So all of those things are going to contribute to the chemistry of this team. Here's going to be the issue. The chemistry off court, I'm not worried about. But there's going to be a huge hit. Think about this. You didn't have Caruso, you didn't have Schroeder, you didn't have AD, you didn't have Bron. Okay? Those are 4 significant people who are going to play. You look at the minutes tonight, Kyle Kuzma's not getting 32 minutes in the playoffs. McLemore's not getting 26 minutes in the playoffs. I would dare to say.
Right.
Well, I know McKinney ain't getting no 17 minutes. McKinney's probably not going to be able to play at all.
He'd be like he gets 17 seconds.
Maybe, right? Drummond, listen, on a night like tonight, Drummond had 20 points, 10 rebounds, and only played 22 minutes. Right.
Wow.
So when you're looking at this, there's going to be some DNPs that are going to be popping off tonight. K-Cut got into the game for 4 minutes, right?
Yeah. Almost had to call it off. Almost had a nice little dunk, but he got blocked.
So this team is where it's going to be different, right? So last year, JaVale, Dwight knew their roles, understood why they were brought in, and then understood why they couldn't be played in certain series. Hence the Rockets, and even a couple of times during the even when we played the Heat and Caruso got subbed in to start. There are going to be moments where people are going to have to take a back seat and just chill out. But they had a whole year. They had Kobe's death. They had a record. They had been playing together without injuries like that. They had veterans like Rondo on the team, and all the circumstances were right for them to be able to have people to sit back. This is not necessarily that team. So my fear is how does the chemistry on the court work when some people are not playing for 2 or 3 games, possibly a whole series, and other people are. Marc Gasol tonight played how many minutes?
0.
Okay, so Marc Gasol played 0 minutes tonight, and I'm sure he wasn't tripping because there's no way he wanted to run that much on the floor. But when you think about that, and you go, okay, so now we're talking about Trez, we're talking about Drummond, we're talking about Gasol, we're talking about AD who's going to be running the 5 and small ball. How is that cohesion going to work? And Bron is coming back next game, but that means he has 2 games before the play-in game to really start orchestrating on the court, man. So it's going to be.
And then the thought about it is Schroeder could be probably back, as early as Saturday too.
And see, that's another thing, right? So we even during the season, Braun and Schroeder were just starting to figure it out.
Right.
And then Schroeder went out with his first protocol. He comes back, and then Braun gets hurt. And now, you just haven't had that time for a point guard and a point forward to be on the court together. Then you've added in Drummond, and we have no idea what that's going to look like, right? So it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. Let me see here. Portland already played against Houston. Yes.
Yes.
We need Phoenix to win tomorrow. Listen, it's a matter of what you want. I'm gonna pose this question to you, Jay. So you basically have two different options, right? And really, it's not really in your control so much. You can do your part. Lakers can do their part, but you can have the 7th seed, right? And you go into this play-in tournament, probably against Golden State. You'll probably end up winning, and then you'll face, I don't know, who will we face after that? The Suns?
It'll be Phoenix. They're number
it'll probably
2.
Phoenix. Yeah, it'd be Phoenix. Okay. Or you push hard, right? And you do your part, win the next 2 games, and you sweep your way out the series, sweep your way out the season with wins. And let's just say Portland loses or whatever, and you end up in the 6th seed. Then you don't play in the play-in tournament, but you're taking a Braun who's coming fresh off an injury and hasn't ramped up. You're taking a team that Dennis Schroeder, who's been gone, and he has to get back into shape and back into the flow of things because he obviously doesn't care, hence Call of Duty, and play the Clippers coming straight in. So what would you rather have, playing the Clippers coming out or going to the play-in game and giving yourself an opportunity to get some cohesion with the team?
Nah, just play the play-in tournament. I mean, it's one game. We can beat the Warriors in one game.
Yeah,
because I think if we play the Clippers, we're gonna try to do too much.
Yeah,
we don't want to overcompensate for the missed time. Obviously, the whole Battle of LA thing. Oh, everyone say the Clippers are coming to take LA. No, you're not. You haven't won jack squat, and you still ain't won jack squat. So no, what the questions they need to focus on just getting. I mean, you're gonna get in the playoffs. I just feel like it's out of their hands. They need to just be content and not with being in the play-in tournament. And I think that was part of the reason why Anthony Davis didn't play tonight. Obviously, he had the groin sore. But let's be clear. With no LeBron, no AD, no Caruso, no Dennis Schroeder, they're showing you they are very content of being in the play-in tournament and not worried about where their seeding is. They know that when we are at our best, there's you can put any 8 other 7 teams against us in the West. We'll beat them and twice on Sunday. We'll beat them, whoever it is, and we'll beat and twice on Sunday. And we can take that to the East as well and win the championship. So I think they're not caring about the seeding.
Agreed. For me personally, if I had to make a choice, the play-in tournament works in our favor more than the 6th seed would. Just to be honest, I think we can beat the Clippers, but I think we need some time to get that together. Blake has a great I'm sorry. Oshust. I really wish I could pronounce these names because I'm sorry. I'm worried about if the supporting cast. I'm worried about if the supporting cast have enough scoring power in playoffs. What do you both think? And we really can't use tonight as a barometer for that. It was a little bit of an anomaly, 16, 19, 10. You're not going to have – listen, McKinney has 17 minutes, 10 points. I'm just going to keep saying it.
Right.
The man deserves minutes. He's active. He's doing his thing. 5 rebounds, 2 of them being offensive, 2 steals. He was a -1, in the plus minus.
Wow.
Here's the issue. And I'm going to let you decide right now, okay?
Okay.
In the playoffs, you generally have shortened rotations. We have enough to run a 10-man rotation. Okay, that's generally what we have. That's actually more than what we had last year. Okay,
so it was.
So we have a 10-man rotation. The issue is that we don't really know truly what the bench is. We've had significant time where Morris didn't play, where Wesley Matthews was a DNP. We've had time. Ben McLemore just got added. We've seen Harrell play 5 minutes, but then tonight he'll play 26. So it's hard to say who the supporting cast is truly. And if you had to make a choice, man, who is your bench 5?
My bench 5?
Bench 5.
Kuz, Gasol, Caruso.
Uh-huh.
This is where the conundrum comes in. Because I want to play Trez.
But
I know what Keith brings when he's right. And then the other conundrum is what we've seen from Wesley Matthews a blip or a trend? And is it greater? Does it outweigh the high risk, high reward of playing Ben McLemore? So 3 for sure. You're playing Kuz, you're playing Caruso, you're playing Gasol. The final 2 spots, I'm gonna start with Wes Matthews because I trust his experience, and then I'll probably have to go with Montrez.
There we go. Okay, I agree. I think you interchange Trez and Morris depending on what's necessary. I think you interchange Gasol and Drummond depending on what's necessary. If we're going up against Denver, or if we're going up against Philly, then you start Gasol and Drummond comes off the bench. Honestly, it just makes the most sense. Marc Gasol handles it better. So yeah, I think Oshhust. I'm gonna go with that. That is probably the hardest question to answer because we don't know who the supporting cast is. But I love Jonathan's. I agree with his, and I'm all the way with it. The biggest thing for Kuz is he can produce on nearly the same level, only playing 20 minutes. Can he consistently give you near double doubles? That's a great question. I think it really depends on the team that we're playing and what the game plan is. But what I really need him to do is just do what he needs to do in that moment. If you need him to rebound, I need him to rebound and not worry about scoring. If we need him to pick up scoring, do that. But I'm hoping he'll find his role. Phoenix might fall out of second to let the Clippers have it. They know they stand no chance against the Lakers if the Lakers end up at 7. No, I don't think even Phoenix.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Phoenix is not going. Not CP3. CP3 wants the Lakers smoke since Rondo gone.
And there's no way he's giving the Clippers the satisfaction of outdoing them.
No. In fact, if he could, he would play the Clippers and the Lakers.
Exactly.
If he could, back to back. J Jeter Leo, what would you put Schroeder on the bench when he comes back as a 6th man? I'm going. Oh, before we get there, going back to your bench 5.
Oh my God! How did I do that?
So let's just run the lineup. Let's just run who's on the bench, right? So Caruso, Kuz, Gasol, Harrell, THT, Morris, McLemore, Wes Matthews. So you technically don't have a 10-man rotation. You have a 13-man rotation.
Oh my God!
Oh, there it is. David said it. Jonathan hates THT.
Stop it.
Jay Edward, I'm not mad at this. Alex, Kuz, Keith, THT, Trez, I'm not mad at that. That's much more of a small ball lineup, and it could work. It could work. But just so
I mean, you're taking West's defense out. Oh my
right.
God!
So
I think it's gonna be this difficult.
So to answer J Jeter Leo, putting Schroeder on the bench in an already convoluted. So the idea would be then who would go into the starting lineup. And I guess you could put a THT or you could put a Kuz or you could put whoever and let just Braun run the point. But considering that you've never run lineups like that before and Schroeder has never played off the bench, it's probably the wrong time to try that formula. But, man.
Oh wow, you guys are real jerks. You guys are real jerks. Wait till I get in the spaces tonight, man.
So before we go off on Frank Vogel about why people aren't playing, you gotta understand, like he literally has an 8-man rotation on the bench that he has to figure out how to get those lineups in. And so I think you're gonna see, like literally, you're gonna see sometimes where people are not playing a lot of minutes. It's been weird to watch, Trez go up and down. And this is a great point. KRS Fibre, Caruso has already proven that him and Braun deserve to be on the court together, especially in crunch time situations. Caruso has shown that. In fact, while LeBron has been out, and while AD has been out, and while Schroeder's been out, we've seen a different Caruso. Double-digit scoring Caruso is not a normality for us.
He's trying to get the bag.
Yeah, he's trying to get that bag, and he's proven that he's growing in the area of running an offense. Obviously, he's not the playmaker that we need. But tonight, he would have been great. He could have stopped a lot of these runs tonight. He could have set a different defensive tone. And he could have hit some open shots that I think would have slowed down some of the runs that the Rockets had. So here's the thing. When you have this many people on a team, depth is a good problem to have if everybody's on one accord. If everybody's on one accord understanding, hey, I may not be necessary tonight, or I may not be necessary for long periods and long stretches, but I'm in to win. I'm in it. I'm in it with the team. If we can get that kind of buy-in, then the Lakers are unstoppable. Lakers are unstoppable. Literally, if one person is struggling, you have a replacement for every position. Literally every position. If KCP is struggling on defense, you got Caruso. If Schroeder is struggling, we've already proven you got THT. If Morris is struggling, you got Trez. You got Marcus Gasol and Drummond able to switch and interchange depending on the matchup. We have great problems to have. But like when you hear people like Marcus Gasol saying stuff like, "Well, you got to ask the coach," or you have Kuz saying, "I think Marcus Gasol should play more." That's the stuff that worries me because that's not talk of people on the same page. I've been saying that for weeks. Caruso starting with Braun is a good option. I disagree.
Nah, keep him on the bench.
Keep him on the bench.
That was a spot start like he did in Game 6, and Vogel just wants to shake it up. Yeah, but I don't want him to be a consistent starter.
Yeah,
maybe play the matchups, play the percentages. You brought up Vogel. I have some comments from Vogel post game.
Please give them to me. What's he saying on the other side?
All right, so I got one. Okay, on Wes Matthews, the last two games, we don't win the last two games without Wes Matthews. Big plays down the stretch. He's really rounded into form. On THT, he's doing a phenomenal job the last two games. He's done a great job for us. Let's focus on the positive. He without all the absent playmakers. Following up on to Trudell's question, we don't win the last two games, like I said, and then he says, "Yeah, that's his comments. Those were really his comments there." And then Wes Matthews is now the pillow. And he said he's been focused on just playing basketball, building good habits over the last few weeks. And Kuz was on a post game with Trudell. He said tonight just gave me a lot of motivation. I want to feel the same feeling and have the opportunity to raise another banner here. That's a guy who likes his bag. Wes Matthews said he's very proud of his teammates that won this title last year. But he went back to the locker room during the banner ceremony saying the ceremony was for the 2019-2020 squad. Added, "My fire burns to raise the banner this year."
Let the fire burn. Listen, here goes the Kuz quote of the night. Kuz has been giving us quotes all season long. I don't know what's gotten into this cat, but I'm loving this version of him. Kuz says, "We know what time it is. We know what time it is now. It's time to get with it or get lost."
I just read that. Yes, Ryan Ward just tweeted that out. Kuz on he's concerned about LeBron. No, I'm not. He said I'm not worried about chemistry issues because the way he plays, getting everybody involved. No, he knows himself. He knows his body better than anyone. I don't really care if he comes back and plays Indiana Pelicans and shoots 45 times to get in rhythm. We're not worried about chemistry because of the way he plays. That's Kuz on LeBron. He says he's not worried. If he comes out and just jacked up 45 jumpers just to get his legs under him, it doesn't matter because he knows who LeBron James is. He knows what LeBron James is capable of.
And this is going to be a very interesting take, and I want to just make sure that I'm being very clear on this. Okay. LeBron James at this stage of his career is going to be more dependent probably than he's ever been on these other players.
Yes.
If I could give a hot take, I think part of the reason he didn't play tonight was because I think he's seeing what's happening to these role players who don't normally get minutes, seeing their confidence go through the roof. And I think he knew that this is the perfect game for them to get their mojo going before the playoffs against a Houston Rockets team that's severely injured, battling it out, winning without Bron and without AD, so that they know that if Bron knows that if I could pass them the ball, I know they have the confidence to shoot it or the confidence to make the right play. And sometimes Bron being on the bench is better for the team in the long run than him coming back and everybody just going, okay, finally the king is back. Let's just rely on him to make all of our decisions. Tonight, to me, was a growth moment, and I think LeBron knew that was going to happen. In a one game play-in game, I wouldn't mind Caruso starting to guard Steph. Once again, this is all going to be dependent upon how Schroeder comes back and how he looks. We don't know if he actually had COVID. We don't know. What we do know is that when Marc Gasol had COVID and I had COVID, I'm just telling you right now, you do not come back breathing regular. I haven't had COVID for what has it been, a month and a half now or a month, and I still don't breathe right. So
both my uncles had it. I know this because I had my mom's brother and my daddy's brother had it.
There it is. So you already know. So we don't know where Schroeder's going to be, and it may be a necessity to have Caruso play more minutes. We'll find out. And we'll see. But I'll tell you this, we cannot overlook the Warriors. Let me just say it again. For a team that is desperate, listen, the Warriors are not winning the championship this year. Nobody projects them to do it. I'm sure Steph is kind of like, man, it would be great. It would be the shock, the Cinderella story of the NBA, but nobody expects them to win. So in that one last game, they're going to lay it all out on the line. They're going to give everything they got. That could be Steph's last game of the season. Do you think that man's not going to give everything he has for that one playing game? Now, obviously, that doesn't mean we're out of the playoffs, but just don't overlook the Warriors, man. Think about what happened with these Rockets tonight. We almost overlooked them, and we almost lost. The Warriors are going to be 10 times more. Listen, Jordan Poole is playing better. Steph he's playing on an all. And listen, and Draymond hates us. Draymond he hates Western Conference opponents. So you're going to watch this team come at the Lakers like nobody has all season. And it's very possible the Lakers are going to have a very tough matchup on their hands. Does it seem like Vogel's at his best when he has less to work with? Thoughts? AKA Roy Hibbert?
You can never tell me a player doesn't want to have more talent. I'm sorry. Look, coaches love the coach. Coach is coach, but you're not telling me they feel better that LeBron James missing the last 2 games, not 3, 4 or 5 games he's missed. I mean, everyone wants to have their best players, but certain coaches probably know how to. But just think about Vogel just knows how to work with a player of a certain type of skill set. Because you go back to Indiana, Paul George wasn't the Paul George he is now. He was becoming that Paul George. When it was him, Lance Stevenson, and Roy Hibbert, and that crew that played LeBron's Heat teams in 2 straight Eastern Conference Finals. Orlando was a total dumpster fire, so that one would count. We just look at our roster last year. We had a lineup with a starting 5 last year of LeBron, AD, JaVale McGee, Danny Green, and Avery Bradley, with a bench of KCP, Kuz, getting Rondo, bringing Rondo back, getting Markieff Morris, getting Deion Waiters, getting J.R. Smith, getting some of these guys. He knows the type of players that fit his system. And he knows who are the best fits and who can work it. But I don't know if he's best at when he's working with less. He's been in a small market, so I think he knows how to overcome certain situations when you don't have a superstar.
Because to be honest, let's not forget, we always talk about Indiana and Frank Vogel, but there was a stop in Orlando, and he didn't have a lot to work with.
None.
And they got smashed in the Eastern Conference and led to him getting fired. Hoodie Walker says if the Warriors lose to the Lakers, they still get to play the winner of the 9-10 winner to move to the 8th. I'm not saying anything about whether or not they'll be in the playoffs. I honestly think the Warriors are going to be the 8th seed. I'm saying they're not going to win a championship. And so for them, every game that they play in the playoffs is house money for them. If they get swept by the 1 seed as an 8th seed, that's expected. Nobody cares. There's no Klay Thompson. There's a bunch of new people. Steph Curry's probably got to score 40 a night. So they're going to lay it out on the line. It's us who has something to prove, right? It's us who has to stay healthy. It's us who has to find cohesion and chemistry. They've been playing together. It's us who hasn't been able to play, and it's been an issue. Kevin Angelo says Wiggins could explode against us. Yeah, good old Wiggins. Esteban, I don't think Dennis had COVID, but he definitely had the COD virus. Esteban, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to
that's code.
Esteban, do me a favor and log off. Just log off for the night.
Come on, Esteban. You can't do that.
The COD. Let's not bring it back up. Thank you, Dave. Boo. Okay, here comes Chris. This was one of the most frustrating games ever. If it's a win, once again, another untimely drought. And
I'm glad you brought that up. Go ahead.
No, John, talk about that, Jay.
Okay, so, and I bring this up. Me and Chris, we've had this. This has been like a repetitive theme on a halftime show. These droughts. It's like Desert Storm in the NBA. I mean, how many times can we go 3, 4, 5 minutes without making field goals and keep digging ourselves deeper in these holes and not winning these games? Because it always happens when the second or the fourth quarter, the Lakers get hot, and if for some odd reason the lights turn out and they get cold, like there's a lid over the rim, and they get chillier than December.
Yep.
I cannot explain it, but it always happens. It's happened a lot over these last month or so, where they have these 3 to 4 or 5 minute droughts. And if we do that on the wrong team in the playoffs, it's not going to be a pretty sight.
Okay, let me give you guys an example so that we can all, because what you're saying is absolute truth. The question is not the facts. The question is, why are these facts present? So I had a Chevy Cavalier, and I decided to change my own spark plugs. When I changed my own spark plugs and I went to drive the car, it did fine until it hit about third gear, and then it started sputtering. And I didn't understand why. And so I took it to a mechanic, and the mechanic said, hey, man, your spark plug adjustment is off. It's mistiming and misfiring. So once I identified what the problem was, then I was able to fix the issue. So the issue for the Lakers is we have to stop and say, well, what's causing the droughts? What has been the common trend all season long that has caused these droughts? What do you think has been the common trend?
Shooting too many threes,
and
not going to the homework.
Why?
Because I think obviously it's a 3-point league, and obviously when they're making their threes, they're unstoppable. But I just feel like when the drought happens and you keep shooting threes and not going in, just gives you something to build your confidence. Don't stop shooting threes, but make life easier for you. Don't pile up the bricks and don't keep piling up the bricks.
No, I got you.
Let's build the house. Let's build the foundation. We can keep having all these bricks.
Well, let's go a step further. Okay, the Lakers have not had an identity all season. So when we talk about shooting threes has always been a last option or a resort for us, or if someone's just trying to get quick points. But the real issue is that our rotation has never been set.
Right.
Marc Gasol had issues all during the beginning, dealing with COVID, the whole 9. Then we bring in Andre Drummond, who's a completely different player, who also can't finish at the rim. Now you lose your playmakers. You haven't had consistent playmakers all season who are able to control the ball, get to the cup, and make the right pass. Our turnovers have gone extremely high since we started having injuries. So the real issue is that the reason why these droughts happen is because our luck runs out. We're really riding on grace through most of these games because you don't have a LeBron or you don't have a Dennis Schroeder, or you don't think about how many times Dennis has been out, or how many games Bron has been out, or how many games Anthony Davis has been out. These are all key contributors to your actual offense running. These guys, Ben McLemore, is not thinking about how I'm supposed to dribble the ball and make the right pass. He's catch and shoot. When people play with Bron, get to your spot, have your hands ready. If you watch Kuzma, when he's in the game with Bron, he finds his spot, and you'll see him doing this the entire time because their identity is built off of you be ready, let him make the play. You take away the playmakers, now you're asking them to make up everything. And so when we get to these certain spots, where we run into these droughts, these are issues that are being caused by misalignment of roster. So once we get Bron back and Schroeder back and AD back and get that timing back in, you're going to see this offense move much more fluid. You will see lower scores. We're not going to be scoring 124 points. You're going to see it go much lower, but you're also going to see other teams have much lower scores as well because our defense will be the primary, and then LeBron being the playmaker will be the secondary. I heard J-Dub say that THT is whack.
I did not say that.
The audacity.
It was a complete oversight.
The blasphemy. The audacity.
The blasphemy.
The
Look here,
blasphemy.
let's not go Stephen A. Smith this late in the evening. Look, if I totally is a total oversight, and we had just talked about THT in the segment before. So I didn't forget about THT. I was overthinking the situation because I don't envy Frank Vogel right now.
How do you overlook the young man who hit the game-winning shot last night? How do you overlook that? I would never
hit
do
the
that.
game-winning shot tonight. It was Kyle Kuzma.
But I didn't say tonight. I said last night. Damn minute you go. Let's listen. Oh, real quick. The Lakers have 2 games left. It's a back-to-back on the road, Indiana and New Orleans. Do we finish the season with 2 wins?
Yes. I know what they need in the NBA.
Okay.
Come on, dude. It's Wednesday night. We should already know when they're playing. This should not take those 3 days for us to know that what time the Lakers play Saturday and Sunday. Let's get this going. Look, we got bigger fish to fry. Kobe's going in the Hall of Fame on Saturday. We're going to be full of emotion that day. We want to know when the Lakers are playing because we want to see this game. We want to decompose because we know how our hearts are going to be real heavy on Saturday. Do not toy with us like this, Adam Silver. You know we're going to be in the play-in tournament anyway. Adele says Dame in Portland losing 2 games, the Lakers winning out for the 6th seed. And here's Chris Miller. Pacers have been playing well since an article. They got some coaching issues.
They do. But what's good for our boys, tonight is Wednesday night. They get Thursday and Friday off. Friday obviously is going to be a travel day. And then Saturday and Sunday is their back-to-back. And then most likely they will be getting ready for the play-in, which will be happening shortly right after that. But with that being said, we can't be mad about tonight. 3-game winning streak. Haven't had a winning streak in months, literally since March. And so now we're back in that space again. LeBron will be back for the next game on Saturday. And you already said it, one of the biggest days in Laker history, something that most of us have been waiting on for years. Kobe will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's going to be a very emotional day. Vanessa will be giving the speech. And, of course, Michael Jordan will be presenting. And so all of that is going to be – and Michael Jordan has already said he's not going to hold back his tears. He's not going to hold back his emotion. He's going to let it all out because Kobe meant that much to him. So Saturday is going to be a crazy day, not just for Laker fandom, not just for Jeannie Buss in the front office and, of course, Rob Pelinka, but even the players, the LeBrons and the Anthony Davises and these guys who obviously knew Kobe, and they've been separated from that moment for some time. But think about this. I just want to point this out. They were on a plane coming back home from Philadelphia when they got the news about Kobe. Now they're going to be getting on a plane and heading to Indiana on the same day that he's being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and he won't be there. These are things that these guys are going to be thinking about, okay? So with that being said, we're sending positive vibes to everybody in their comment section. No negativity from the Laker family. Leave that to the trolls outside of the Laker family. But we're going to give positive vibes, man. And, of course, we are always going to give it up for Kobe Bryant, man. Rest in peace. We miss him. It's still today. I was sitting in the grocery parking lot, man, thinking to myself, listen, man, win for Kobe. I was thinking to myself, like, yo, like this dude is really gone. Like we're talking about Kobe in the past tense, man. And Saturday is going to be bringing up a lot of those old feelings, man. So listen, we got to stick close. If you guys haven't done it, man, make sure that you guys are following show. Remind me, Jay, do we have something going on during that? I think during the ceremony we might be doing something, or possibly afterwards.
We're probably going to do a Spaces after Vanessa's speech, so we can all just reminisce and just think about how and just be in awe of this woman's strength and grace, and these kids who are going to be up there speaking. So yeah, I think we'll do it. We're planning on probably doing a Spaces following the ceremony. And man, I was talking on my podcast last night with my boys Mark and Nick on the Sports Review pod. And we just talked about, man, this class going into the Hall of Fame is just crazy. Obviously, Kobe, KG, Tim Duncan, Rudy T.
That's crazy.
Eddie Sutton, the former. It's just it's crazy. I think who's the woman that she played at Tamika Catchings. Mm-hmm. She's going in, and this is this class is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, man. When you think about a Tim Duncan and a Kevin Garnett, who obviously played against Kobe in some epic matchups that we remember as Laker fans throughout the years, it's going to be emotional for them too. They talked about, KG talked about the conversations him and Kobe would have post-retirement about being in the Hall of Fame and what that was going to feel like and what that was going to be like. And they're both first ballot Hall of Famers, but the main guy, the guy that they used to love battling against, won't be there. So it's going to be an emotional day, man. I'm just preparing everybody for that now. But it's going to be a day of celebration. And, of course,
yes,
LeBron said it tonight. Wonderful ceremony. The banner being raised tonight. Wonderful ceremony. I love the way they did it. The intro video was incredible. Anthony Davis getting a standing ovation. LeBron coming out and saying the phrase. He said, "We are on the road back to back to back. The road for back-to-back starts next week." And I'm telling you, it is here. We are going back to the playoffs, guys. And here's what I love. No team in the NBA has really seen us at full strength. No team has seen us with a McLemore and a Drummond and a healthy AD, rested LeBron. They haven't seen us. And I'm telling you right now, whoever is doubting us going into this playoffs, they're going to learn the hard way. The Lakers ain't going out easy. I believe that we're going to get all the way into the finals, and we're going to see an epic finals probably against the Brooklyn Nets. With that being said, I want to remind everybody that after the party,
it's the after
party, man. It's the after party. We are on Spaces on Twitter. So if you guys want to have your voices heard, you want to join in on the conversation, you can join our boy Adele and Javi and David and the whole crew. And I almost forgot, man, we actually have added
a new addition
here. Our girl Raquel has joined the Showtime Forum squad. You guys might know her as am I saying it right? So beautiful. Am I saying it right? So beautiful.
Yeah, so beautiful. So beautiful me.
So beautiful me on Twitter. She has been an incredible contributor to other organizations as well, and she has jumped in with us, and we are truly honored that she would jump in with some young guns like us. And so look out for her. Some of these tweets. She might even be in the Spaces tonight. It's uncut. She's
also part of the Coos Hive.
And she's also part of the Coos Hive. So please don't go in there talking crazy about Coos, because if she's in there, she's probably going to let you guys know. So once again, Twitter Spaces directly after this. You guys can jump into the conversation. We can't wait to hear what you guys have to say, what you guys think. And of course, it's no holds barred. The only thing that we don't do is we don't disrespect each other, but you can disrespect anybody else, man. And as my boy Showtime, props to Kuzma and THT. Scary Hours Lake Show. That's right, man. Kobe, KG Duncan, one of the most memorable NBA Hall of Fame classes in history. Yes, my son will be writing research papers about the Lakers and about that draft class. Even though he's not being assigned in class, I'm going to make him do it. She's the future wife of Jason Tatum. Who's the future wife of Jason Tatum?
No. She's recruiting Jason Tatum.
She's recruiting
Jason Tatum.
There it goes, man.
Jason Tatum.
And with that being said, Jay, you want to give the people any information, give them the shout out, let them know what's going on in your world heading out into the after Spaces, man. What's going on?
All right. At JWatson0984 on Twitter and Instagram. Showtime Forum on Instagram. Showtime Forum on Facebook. Showtime_Forum on Twitter. And as you're watching right now, make sure you're subscribed. Hit that subscribe button on the Showtime Forum YouTube channel. Again, don't forget, we got, obviously you get your merch, like as you see our great host Devon is wearing. Can't beat LA. Golden Knight GFX. And don't worry, in Showtime Forum, we're cooking up something as we're getting close. We're cooking up some things. So be on the lookout. Keep them notifications on. Keep them notifications on. Keep them notifications on.
For real, man. For real. And of course, I don't really have much to shout out, but I do want to just kind of give you guys these parting words, man. Listen, we have been through a long journey through 2020, of course, winning a championship, and now we're in 2021. And we've had some ups and we've had some downs and we've had some issues. We've, of course, had, I've talked about this before, death of Kobe. We've had pandemic. We've had a championship, but then we've also had some injuries this year. And now we're walking into another set of unknown circumstances as we play in a playing game, something none of us thought we'd be doing heading into the playoffs. This is all I'm going to say. Your perspective is always going to be shaped by your attitude. How you view a thing is going to be based upon your attitude towards a thing. And so if you tend to view things in a bad way, generally it means that you have negative feelings on the inside that are changing your perspective. If you're looking at this Lakers squad and saying, man, we only beat the Rockets by 2 points, you have one or two ways to look at that. One way, you can look at it and say, we made too many mistakes. We didn't do enough. We were too lazy. This team doesn't have what it takes. This is not championship caliber. I don't know who this team is. And you can look at it that way and walk away with a 3-game win streak and say, we suck. On the other side, you can say, we have gone through adversity. We've dealt with injuries. And now we're finally going to have an opportunity to get the team back together and walk into the playoffs with a healthy LeBron and hopefully a healthy AD and a full squad ready to commit to winning a championship. You have the opportunity to make that change in your perspective. If you view this team as a negative, then I would suggest taking an opportunity to looking forward to the future and forgetting about the things of the past, man. Think about what we have coming up, opportunities to get through these next few series and raise another banner like we saw tonight. And trust in this team, trust in this organization, and of course, we can always trust in the king, LeBron James. I know we're going to have a great time tonight in Spaces. So, of course, my parting words to you are going to be the same as they are every post game. Mamba out, but not forgotten. We'll check you guys in Spaces. See you guys a little bit later.